And we are back. We have returned from that short break. Kind of just getting some water after all those proxies. We may get some more here with another Terran in this group.
Yes, we do have a Terran, and I'm really excited to see what Eurystheus. I think that's how you say that. I'm not 100% sure. I'm really curious to see what kind of Terran Eurystheus. I'll commit to my pronunciation now. Will be. But before we get into our TVZ, we do have a Zerg vs. Zerg to get out of the way first.
We do. Just like in the previous group, unfortunately, we did have a couple of walkovers. It does seem like Theory, our American Protoss, was unable to compete in this tournament, so all of his games were a walkover. Unfortunately, I believe it was like short notice and they couldn't replace him with another player from the qualifiers, so yeah, he did step away from this group, but everyone else did show up, so we still have plenty of games.
Yes, and we do have. I'm really excited to see the Latin American Zerg of Eon on Team Sopapilla. As he's not Team Sopapilla isn't a team I get to cast too much anymore. And who knows? It's always nice to see the Latin American region represent in tournaments that I get to see.
Oh yeah, definitely. As we are getting into our first series, it is going to be that ZVZ. Mate, are you ready?
I am indeed. You want to count us in?
Let's go. 3, 2, 1. As we are spawning in to Lightshade LE, and spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have our purple Zerg player, our Latin American Zerg, hailing from the land of Costa Rica, representing TSOP Gaming. It is Eon.
And in the bottom right-hand corner, it is the red Zerg player representing Team Exxon. Give it up for Steadfast.
And just want to give a bit of a shout out to Steadfast. He is one of the few casters who actively competes in as much as he can, at least in the NA scene.
Yeah, I believe I see him so often in just a lot of these smaller tournaments that he'll it's not necessarily he's competing in a GSL or IM Catalyst or anything, but he plays in what he can, and he also casts so much thing, and just it's nice to see, or at least I believe he casts some things. Maybe I'm have him mixed up with another player, but I do see him quite a lot, and it's nice to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I'm not wrong, I'm pretty sure he casts Exxon Cup. As Team Exxon, they run their own weekly events that is open to all players. So I believe he casts that in English. And he also does jump in for the ESL Open Cup Americas cast as well. So yeah, he is also doing his part for the NA scene. And we'll see how he does here. We'll see if he's able to represent Canada, as his opponent is a pretty strong Zerg player.
Yes, TSOP Gaming, they're they're a Latin American clan. I believe TSOP stands for Team Sopapilla.
Yep.
So still remember my Latin American clans. And they're one of the groups that they have a good number of players, and and if I remember correctly, all the players on them are fairly good at ZVZ, or at least at versus Zergs, because there are a good number of Zergs in the group.
Oh yeah, in general, there's a lot of Zerg representation in Latin America, so they've got to be good at it. And Eon, I know him as a player who, sure, he can go the longer macro game, but he's also a little bit cheeky. He can go for some big all-in, some big Ling Floods, whenever he can. So he's a bit of a wild card. In this group, I would say that he, kind of like Riser in Group A, I would think that he's a favorite to come out of this group here in Group D.
Yeah, I honestly I kind of agree with you. Just that they are indeed the favorite. However, you can't really count anyone out just yet. This is an early stage of the group, as Steadfast is taking a better trade here with the Lings, and having 6 Lings across the map, trading 1 for 1 is good when you have the more Lings, and it's a lot of damage.
Oh yeah, that third base is actually getting dangerously low. Where are the lings for Eon? Oh my god, it's gonna be forced to be cancelled.
Oh no, that's like not what you want to see. And he even wins the, or he almost wins. He would have won the Zergling fight, I think, as the Zerglings are not quitting. They get a ling and a drone, and they are trading for some damage against the queen, but instead deciding to pull out and hey, let's scout. And what he does scout, he sees the Roach Warren go down, sees that their ling's out, and Steadfast knows exactly what's up. He just has to defend the pressure, and I believe Steadfast really has his hands on the driving seat.
Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned though, because he has 0 lings right now. He's actually he's making lings as a response, but I don't know if they're going to be out in time to save this third base, as the third does finish.
Yeah, letting the third finish is an interesting decision. I would have, like, it buys him quite a lot of time, but it's going to be an expensive replacement.
Yeah.
Instead, if he committed to his wall, I feel like if he had canceled, he would have maybe been okay. But instead, having to rebuild it, and it creates an interesting game.
Definitely, like, it's a bit of a shame that he lost it. He does have Ling Bane, so like he shouldn't die anytime soon. But the problem is that from here, Eon is going straight into roaches.
Yeah, and like roaches versus like Ling Bane is like not quite what you want to see as a Ling Bane player, as there's just so many roaches in the way. And this is really nice by Eon to buy himself time. It's like, yeah, I'll dance around. Yeah, no, fight me. It's Ling Bane versus Ling Bane. What do you mean? Standard and AZVZ.
Yeah, and it's anything but that. To be fair, Steadfast is also attempting to transition into roaches. He does have +1 range on the way, but he hasn't started his roach count quite yet.
Yeah, and this is going to be a problematic for Steadfast when he realizes that, hey, Eon is almost a really nice Bane lane connection, but as I'm saying, as Eon, he has roaches out already. This is going to cause like quite a lot of problems and make life really difficult for your Steadfast fans out there.
Yeah, definitely, as he does hold on to his third base quite nicely. Eon is actually counterattacking with those lings once again, looking to deny that third base, and this time there aren't any banelings at home to defend.
Yeah, no, so third base will be going down once again, as there are roaches finally on the way, and a layer as well. But I feel like this is just so late compared to like what it could be at. Maybe like I feel like Steadfast's gases were like a little late compared to what he really wanted them to be if he is to survive this roachling attack.
Yeah, like he has a couple of roaches in production, but he only has 3-4 here to defend. God, it just doesn't feel like he has enough, just pure numbers wise.
Yeah, there are a couple of banelings that like maybe will finish and make a difference, but no. Instead, like things going from bad to worse as the drones have to be pulled. 9 drones going down, and this upgrade isn't even going to get a chance to finish before like the whole army of Steadfast gets cleaned up.
Exactly, like the roaches are in the natural, the queen goes down, the drones are going down, and sure that upgrade is on the way and he will have the upgrade advantage, but he's just going to lose so much before that happens.
Yeah, and like there's one roach alive right now to take advantage of his upgrade, and so getting a whole upgrade for one roach isn't really the play. He isn't out of the game. He does have a third base on the way. He does have like units and roach speed and upgrades and potential. However, just with this massive drone lead that Eon has built up, I really am nervous for Steadfast.
Yeah, like there's a lot of pressure on Steadfast to do something. I'm impressed that he was able to sneak out that third and it will finish. It does get scattered by Eon though, and I can't imagine that Eon is going to sit back and allow Steadfast to get back into this game.
You know, Eon, he definitely knows that he is in the driver's seat. He can put on the pressure. He can really do basically like whatever he wants. As long as he doesn't just like drone to like 96 or something, I feel like Eon really shouldn't be losing this game unless like a massive fight goes poorly for Eon.
Yeah, definitely. It does seem like Steadfast is aware of his advantages, and he, like, as soon as +1 finished, he went straight into +2. So, like, he will be able to maintain that upgrade lead, but he has to just keep Eon busy until he can get his own roach count up, and that's what he's trying to do with these lings, but so far he hasn't been able to find a way into the bases.
Oh, we got a really nice baneling run by at the third base, getting like 6 drones out of the deal. Ooh. Really nicely done, but and Steadfast still buying himself time, but he just is down on roaches. And like it's little things like that will get him back into the game, but you need more than 6 drones. You need to like drone up to 66 yourself. I mean, you can kind of, as a Zerg player, you can kind of know that, hey, you're safe to drone up to 66. You can start taking like their 2 gases and their third base. The one thing you would be a little worried about is maybe Mutas, but I don't see a Spire on the way, and instead it's looking like it's going to be Hydras really fast out for Eon.
Yeah, part of me almost wishes that instead of going for that second upgrade, instead Steadfast went into Aspire himself. I think that would have been a really cool way to get back into this, but instead he is coming to his Roach Ravager, which is okay, but as you pointed out, like, Eon is looking to tech up into Hydras and Lurkers.
Yeah, and this is a little risky because there will be a small spike where like Steadfast might have a nicer, like such a nice army, and just like Eon doesn't have a good way of dealing with it. However, there is another banding run by that is going to get like quite shut down. 4 more drones, but not quite enough. But as I said, like as Eon moves around the map, he's spending so much on like upgrades, like Lurkers and Hydras, that I feel like it's almost letting Steadfast back into the game in a way.
Yeah, like Steadfast has the army lead right now. Like he has the army supply lead. It is just pure roaches, so it isn't as like versatile as Roach Ravager. But maybe he can make something happen before the Lurkers come out. But at the moment, they're just posturing in the center of the map. Like the longer this goes on, the better it is for Eon.
Yeah, and one thing that Steadfast does need is he needs more drones and more gases. It's like 60-something drones to 47. That's just really not what you want to see, as there is a massive fight, lots of Cross the Bows going down, and they are raining down on Steadfast's army, but is Steadfast winning this? It looks maybe.
Yeah, like despite taking so many bios to the face, he is going to overwhelm this army. Nicely done. He gets on top of the Hydras and the Roaches, utilizing that upgrade advantage, and he is able to clean it up.
Yeah, but there's just so much of macro behind this, and like lots of really good upgrades for Eon, and he does have a good Roach count. He is getting some Lurkers, and so it's going to cause a lot of problems for Steadfast once he runs into Lurkers, because he has no detection and he doesn't really have Overlord speed either.
Yeah, for Steadfast, that was his big engagement, and from here he's kind of run out of steam. He's going to start falling behind because now the Hydras are out. We have a Lurker as well. Steadfast, he's trying to split up his army. He's trying to find some damage here.
Yeah, and there is not a whole lot here too on the left side, but eventually the Steadfast army got cleaned up. He's winning on the other side, and Steadfast out multi-pronging just like a little bit.
Yeah, he wins the trade on the right-hand side. The mineral line is a little bit vulnerable. He does get a queen, but in the end, he is forced back. And as you said, like, Eon is on top of those upgrades. He's about to close out or catch up with +2 armor is on the way as well.
Yeah, and at this point, Steadfast is going to be down like 2 upgrades almost. And like with Eon, just he has Hydra Lurker tech, and like Steadfast really needs to like a lot of drones in another base, and I don't think he's going to pull them out of his hat.
Yeah, thankfully there aren't too many Lurkers. There's like, what, 2 Lurkers with the main army, which isn't too bad. I'm just worried because Steadfast is just pure Roach. Like, he doesn't have any Ravagers to help deal with the Lurkers.
Yeah, I feel like if Steadfast had like another like group of drones and some Ravagers to like maybe bow down these Lurkers, he maybe could just win this fight, but unfortunately he just does not have the Ravager count.
Yeah.
He does pick off some of the Lurkers, and like that 2 upgrade deficit really is biting him now as GG gets called and Steadfast loses game number 1. Really well played by Eon.
Yeah, GG. Steadfast, he had some nice moves, and he was clawing himself back into it, but that disparity, like after that opening, after losing that third base, after losing all those queens and roach and drones early on, like he wasn't quite able to close that gap.
Yes, a bit unfortunate, but hey, there's still always that chance to come back. There's always another game. As it's a series, and I'm very curious to see what changes Steadfast will make to maybe try and win game number 2. Like, do you think Steadfast is the type of player to like, I lost game 1, let's 12 full, or do you think he's more the kind of guy who's like, yeah, I'll do it again, but I'm just gonna play it slightly cleaner, play everything a bit better, and this time I will come out on top?
I hope he's the kind of player to 12 pool. That's what I want to see. Because like he has to be self-aware that Eon is a pro gamer. Like, he is the best player from Costa Rica, straight up. So you have to respect that, and if you want to take a game, then just switch to Terran and proxy through racks, right? Like, just
You know, the win rate of Proxy 2x, this Proxy 3x has to be absolutely insane. I have never seen this strategy lose.
Yeah, like so why not? You know, if Steadfast really wanted to win, that's what he would do.
Exactly.
Oh god, but we shall see. Regardless, I do hope we see an earlier pull from him. We will see how he is able to adapt to his opponent as we are getting ready to load in to game number 2. It is going to be on Pillars of Gold. 3, 2, 1. And here we are loading in the top right-hand corner. We have the Costa Rican Zerg player. He is purple, representing Team TSOP Gaming. Team Sopapillas. It is Eon.
And in the bottom left-hand corner is the red player hailing from Canada. Give it up for Team Exxon's Steadfast.
I wanted Steadfast to go for the early pull. Eon, please.
You know, Steadfast is almost Eon. There's only like a couple, 100,000 miles, or maybe it's less. It's probably only like a couple thousand miles between Canada and Costa Rica. They're basically the same place.
You know what? Steadfast is closer to Eon than I am.
True. I forgot you were in Australia.
There you go. These are facts.
Yes, these are indeed facts. Another interesting fact about Australia that I think Kuro pointed out is that you guys fought a war against emus and lost.
That did, don't mess with emus, mate, all right? you don't want to mess with emus, okay?
Yeah. Emus are like Zerglings, I guess. They do quite a bit of damage. Eon, that is so cheeky.
Oh, God. Oh god, please scout it. Please, Steadfast. Not like this. Not like this. Please. He doesn't see it. Oh no.
Not this. Please no. If this is how it goes down, I will be very, very sad.
Oh god, okay. We even have another drone over on the right-hand side, like it was able to avoid the overlords and is sneaking in as well. Okay, the spine has been revealed. Immediately, Steadfast fools the boys.
Yes, really nice job. He's pulling everything he can, and he tries to get as much damage as he can. Losing only one drone is kind of nice, but this is gonna cause so many problems. There's another spine crawler in the natural base. Yeah. Man, the disrespect.
The drone did sneak across. We have that second spine. The first spine does waddle down to the low ground just to secure the kill on that natural, and we'll see if Steadfast is able to hold on to it.
Yeah, he's trying to make lings and get what he can, but with the two spines right there, a very red hit point ling, it does get out, but does get denied by reinforcing Zerglings, and just, man, poor Steadfast is gonna have to give up the natural.
Mm-hmm. Wait, did he cancel his spines? Yeah, he did.
He didn't went for a Baneling nest. Man, I would love to see a Roachworn here. Because you got Ravagers, you could really deep down these, but at the same time, it's gonna cause so many problems. I don't agree with the cancel.
Yeah, he is forced to pull the boys once again. It looks like he will get us around on the initial spine on the high ground, which is nice, but as you said, Steadfast a little bit indecisive with what he wants. You know, initially going for the spines, then the Baneling nest. Maybe the Roachworm would have been a better answer, but I mean, at least for now, he's able to stem the tide and keep his main secure.
A really nice job by Steadfast. He really shut everything down, and yeah, he's a wipeout currently, but he's working on fixing that. Has more lords in the way as more lings getting into the main base and having to. It's always unpleasant to see, really having to micro back, and he might even lose a couple of drones here. That's not what you want.
Oh god, nice micro. He does just barely keep that drone alive. At the same time, Steadfast is sending his lings across the map. He does have ling speed.
I really like the ling speed. However, there's just too much here for Eon. I really don't feel like Steadfast can get a whole lot done, especially if his queens are in position.
Definitely, he does force a cancel on that spine, and of course he does have a Baneling nest, so he can morph in a couple of Banelings offensively. But with all those queens, it's so difficult to get anything done. You would expect a player like Eon to just focus down the Banelings.
Yes, of course, and the spine does go down, so now Steadfast can't take his natural, but it was delayed a little bit by that spine color being down, and oh man, like Eon I feel like is in just such a nice position. This is always horrible to feeling as a player when you know you're behind, but you have to play it anyways. Just It's rough, man.
What I do like though is Eon is working on a very fast lair, so I imagine he's gonna look to go into two-base Muta.
Yeah, I'd love to see two-base Muta here, especially because like you have just all that gas, and you might as well. And another thing you can do is because it's probably going to be a roach pressure from Eon. With this high ground, you can get quite a lot of spine colors here, and it's very difficult to push up. And so if Steadfast can get mutas and 2 mutas and not die, I feel like he will definitely be in a position to start his comeback if he doesn't die anyways.
It's a way to come back, right? Like, there we go. The Spire does get thrown down. Like, you need to do something like this to get to claw yourself back into this game after losing your hatchery like that. So Steadfast is aware of that, but will he be able to execute it?
Yeah, it looks like Eon's just going for like quite a lot of drones, and like maybe he's gonna do like that 3 gas, like 2-1, 52 drone timing. And it's like, yeah, I'll just drone up, I'll eventually take my 3rd base, and yeah, it's whatever. I've got control of the game. Whereas if he gives Steadfast too much room to breathe, those mutas might just spell trouble.
Oh boy, so it's really, we're just looking at Eon, like how much time is he going to give Steadfast? Is Eon going to be crazy and like expand from here and just keep droning up? Is he going to attempt to scout what his opponent is doing and then maybe go for some kind of Nidus timing? I'm a little bit concerned because we already have Roach production underway for Eon, and he is going for a 3rd.
Yeah, it looks like, yeah, the 3rd base is on the way, and there's always a chance that, I'm taking a 3rd in air quotes as I'm just like rallying across the map. With more upgrades on the way, I feel like that's not what's going on here. Is I feel like Eon might just be trying to like, I'll drone up to 66, and like, what are you gonna do? Make mutas? Oh, yes, actually.
Yes, it's like that'd be crazy. It's like, oh my god, he's doing it. As like the Spire is done, mutas are on the way. To be fair, there's not that many mutas because again, the economy of Steadfast is pretty hindered. He's supply blocked as well.
Oh no! I feel like what might be smart here is to hide these 3 mutas. Wait until you have like 10 or 12, like a real good flock, and then like just run across the map. Try and get as much drone damage as you can, because if you like spend time to kill these 2 overlords across the map, you're giving so much time to get spore crawlers and like maybe a Hydra Den and more queens.
Yeah,
causes
exactly.
all the problems for yourself.
Yeah, and oh no, I don't think this is the right move. Steadfast is starting to move out with 3 mutas. Like the anti-air for Eon is 3 like queens. It's non-existent. Like may as well just bank up those mutas, just go for the Hail Mary play, wait until you have a decent amount, and then just go across the map. But he's just going with what he has now.
Yeah, no, a really interesting play as he's starting to send a couple of mutas onto these overlords, but there's an army here. That is so many roaches, and there is not a good defense for the roaches. It's going to be only muta, and pure muta does not do that well versus roach, just because it takes such a long time to kill them.
Yeah, roaches, they be thick, and they're just going to waddle into the natural unhindered. There's only a queen for defense, and that is not enough.
The drones, they do get pulled, and there are more mutas here, and so the mutas are doing what they can. On the other side of things, quite a large number of drones go down, but like it's just so much here on the ground. I don't know if Steadfast can come out on top here, man. This is looking so bad.
Yeah, I mean, Steadfast should be able to clean up everything in his main, but we have more coming into the natural. There's just so many roaches. And if he is able to clean up the roaches, the Hydrogen's already done for Eon.
Yeah, Hydra Den, a couple of Hydras in the way, Spore Crawlers as well already on the other side of things, as these roaches are just getting so much damage, man. Poor Steadfast.
Yeah, really rough start to the game. Like, I didn't expect Eon to be as aggressive as he was, but with those offensive spines, he dealt so much damage. Now these roaches are cleaning up the drones. Only 21 remaining for Steadfast. He does have a decent muta flock, so maybe he's hoping to maybe catch Eon off guard.
Yes, I feel like Eon or Steadfast's best play is to stall with the mutas and like drone printer his way like up to like 66 or something and tech switch. Because if he just like sits on these mutas and like he gets the better economy, maybe he can get a big enough lurker count to not die and this game will go on. But like I feel like sitting on or making more mutas would be a mistake here for or for Steadfast, excuse me.
Yeah, and Steadfast is missing his opportunity because he was kind of idle in the center of the map for a little bit. Like, as we can see, Hydras are coming out, but they're in pretty small number. Like, there may have been an opportunity there to like dive on like 3 or 2 Hydras at a time. Now, now the Hydra count is big enough to be a real threat to the mutas. So he really has to be careful here and try and dance around and maybe find some damage, you know, some gas drones or something.
Yeah, and like there's more and more creep spread going down, and I feel like Eon is really, he's dotting all his I's and crossing all his T's here. He's like, yeah, no, so next up you'll probably go to the main base. Let me get some Hydras up there. Let me see, maybe I'll rotate back down to the natural or the third base, as that's where the mutas are. Getting a couple of drones here and there, but it's like, it's not, I don't know. I feel like you want more than this.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's clearing up some creep, which is great. And he isn't like getting caught out by the Hydras so far, which is also great. But at the same time, as you said, you need more than just 2 drone kills, which is what all he's gotten so far.
Yeah, and as Eon, he moves out, puts on pressure, gets into Overseer. I really am disappointed that Steadfast is sitting on like Muta Ling. I feel like tech switching to lurkers is really his best chance here, because if he can get enough lurkers, you can't push that. At least until you have upgrades that outrange lurkers, but then he could just like focus on getting those upgrades and like just barely not dying, and then suddenly it's a much different game. But instead he's trying with Ling Bei and Muta by the looks of it, and I don't know if you can play that from this far behind.
Yeah, I know there are some players who just don't like playing that style where you're turtling and you just elongate the game and then slowly get back into it. But that is like kind of something that you would need to do in this situation, right? To get that lurker, like get a bunch of lurkers, like get that defensive position up and then slowly work up to Hive and maybe get Vipers and things like that. It takes a long time, but it is definitely an option for you.
Exactly. As these mutas, they're trying to get done what they can, but just there's so much anti-air here. I feel like these mutas' time is coming to a close.
Yep. And I feel
Eon
like
moves across.
Yeah, Eon realizes that as well. He's going across the map. He only has 3 lurkers with his army. The rest is just pure Hydra. The mutas are, you know, slowly chipping away at the heels of this army, but like, what is there really to stop it? Okay, there's a decent amount of Banelings.
Yeah, and there's even maybe going to be Baneling speed if he can just buy himself like another 10 or so seconds. But, the mutas, they pick off a couple lurkers, which is nice. This is good damage. And if these Banelings can just trade good enough, but there's a lurker on the ramp, that's not what you want to see.
Not at all, as there are just so many Hydras here. Steadfast, he's waiting for Baneling speed. It looks like the third base is going to go down, and Eon slowly pushing up the ramp into the natural.
Yeah, and with these lurkers, it's really going to be difficult for these Banelings to like not die, because I believe lurkers get like, I think it's 3 shot, it might be 2 shot by lurkers, but the Banelings, here they go as they start rolling on in, but there's just so much Hydra, just never ending field of Hydra.
And
that's the game. GG.
GG gets called. Eon takes the series 2-0.
And what a game. Really well played by Eon, though, to take that.
Oh, yeah. Like, he never really, especially in game 2, he never really let it slip too far out of his grasp. You could also argue that maybe it was on Steadfast being a little bit stubborn with his army composition, who was really heavily relying on his Baneling connections to contend with that ground army, but it only takes a couple of lurkers to really mess that up. It's so difficult to push into Hydra lurker with Ling Bane.
Exactly. Really well tried by Steadfast. Unfortunately, he not quite able to make it, but he does have another chance here. He has a TVZ. I'm curious, do you think we're going to see any proxy Raxes this series?
I hope not, but we may. Eurystheus, we have had the luxury of casting him in the past. He does compete quite often in Battle of the Americas and last year at NA Apprentice Cup as well. He is kind of a ladder hero. He isn't, you know, a well-known player, but he is GM and he is on that grind. He feels like, I don't know, he reminds me a little bit of like a Gyalzing in Korea, you know, like someone who's always there, he's always in Olimu League, he's competing as best he can, but like just not quite at that Codes level.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that.
I threw that out there. I don't know if you know who Gilzing is. I don't.
I've seen him play and stuff, but like he's not a name that like immediately I think of. Gilzing, like he is, as you described, like one of those like kind of lower tier players. Like if you put it in like there's Code S and like Code A now. Yeah. Like I think Gilzing would like be a Code B player. Like not to disrespect him, he's much better than I am, but like he's just not quite at the level to consistently sit at that like top like 32-ish level.
Yeah, for sure. And maybe this is Eurystheus' year. Maybe like he has been, grinding this in 2020, especially. So maybe we'll see him flourish at some point. We'll have to wait and see how he does here in NA Apprentice, at least. As he's doing what he can, right? He's here. He's in Code 8.
Exactly. And I'm ready when you are.
All right, so let's get this underway as we are loading into game number 1 between these two players. 3, 2, 1. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the Zerg player, the Canadian Zerg, representing Team Exxon. We just saw him. It is Steadfast.
And in the top left-hand corner, playing Terran in the blue, representing America and Cosmic Cloud Militia. Give it up for Eurystheus.
Please make the name harder to pronounce. God damn it.
It's an interesting one. Eurystheus, like, there are a couple of ways you could go with that. Like, I'm not sure if Eurystheus is right. I'd love to ask and like have an actual answer, but like, I could definitely see Eurystheus, being right as well. But like, I don't know. That's so hard.
It's like Eurystheus or Eurystheus or I don't know.
A lot of letters in there making interesting noises. A lot more vowels than I'm used to in my name.
Yeah. It's like, mate, when you go to NA, you have Rob. you have the Verdos player Rob, and then you have this guy. You have Eurystheus. Like, mate, come on, like, what's going on here?
Too many vowels for my taste. It's like, I love the Y. Y is a great vowel. Keep that. But like, all the other ones, like, are they really that useful?
I'm sure there's a lore, there's mythology behind the name. Most likely, we'll see if he's able to make a name for himself here in NA Contender Apprentice Code A. He's up against Steadfast. And I'm really curious to see how this plays out. Again, I always love to tune into some TVZ.
Yeah, no, TVZ is a very fun matchup. As we do have a Reaper running across the map at full tilt. Completely standard Marine and a factory follow-up. This is looking to be a very, very stock standard game as Steadfast goes to take his third base. Nothing we haven't seen a million times before.
But for the first time today, which I really appreciate, because the other Terran player we had, Mogar, was anything but standard. So we have a bit of a return to normalcy here with our Terran here in Group D.
Nice job by the Reaper to force a Spore Crawler. That's that's quite a bit of damage, like at the very pro level. Like, you forced a Spore Crawler and then had it get canceled. That's quite a bit of denied mining time, but really nothing all gets traded, and like everyone's playing pretty well. So really nice job by Steadfast, not like get under too much pressure here really early on from Eurystheus.
Yeah, he was able to get his third base up and running. He hasn't lost a drone to that Reaper quite yet. So everything is pretty normal so far. As you said, Eurystheus, he's going for that 1-1-1, not going for an earlier third CC, as we have seen from time to time.
Yes, and the next major decision that Eurystheus will have to make is what starport unit does he go for? Because there's the classic option of like, I'll go for Banshees and Hellions, and maybe get a third CC. There's like the trendy thing to go like maybe Viking Lib or just pure Liberator, or you could even do maybe a Viking into a Battlecruiser opener. But quite a lot of options are available.
Yeah, and in the end, he opts not to switch the racks with the starport, and instead is going for Hellions and that Lib.
Yeah, and so this generally signifies a very, very early stim, which makes your follow-up a lot cleaner, just because it lets you get like stim and combat shield and plus, and maybe you can try and hit up 1-1 timing with stim and combat shields as opposed to otherwise being able to, as this Overlord is looking to get in, and it will see the add on the starport.
Ooh, that it will. So he gets to see all the production, so he is aware he doesn't need spores for Banshees. But it looks like he will be able to see the Liberator as it comes out. Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh, they're attacking our
Yeah, just barely. The one Marine isn't quite enough to damage down the single Overlord. As the Hellions, they do dive in and they get like not a whole lot, but taking a decent amount of hull damage.
Oh yeah, that they do. Something else that's interesting to me is that normally when I see someone go for this opener, they go for only one lib. But he's committing and he's getting a second one behind this as well.
Yeah, I really like this, the second lib, just because it allows for a lot more micro potential, just because you can have like libs in, you can be in every mineral line at once effectively. And that always feels nice when you force your opponent to micro so heavily, as that libs might barely be out of range of the mineral. Oh, that is really dirty.
God, just barely in range of that mineral line. The Queens do come in, but the Liberator is able to back off. At the same time, the Hellions are looking to sneak into that natural.
And they are diving. There isn't a whole lot of Lings there. Oh no! Gonna get so many. They were pulled off the line, so they're in the absolute worst case scenario. And ooh, nice barbecue on these Lings as well. Nice job of the Hellions to try and get a lot done. There's just so much done, and 11 drones end up going down.
Oh my god.
And one of the Liberators also dies.
Exactly, but he's not done. There is that second Liberator looking to siege into that main base. Eurystheus already dealing so much damage. He's going to find more here.
And it's a really nice job by Steadfast to mitigate where he can, but unfortunately just cannot quite be everywhere fast enough. As there's a Spore Crawler moving and, more creeps, but he's trying to rebuild, but losing so many drones. 14. My jeez.
Oh god, it's already such an amazing opener for Eurystheus, and that's the thing, it was just an opener. Like, the follow-up is on the way. You were talking about that early stim. Stim is about to finish up. 1-1 is on the way as well.
Yeah, and a really nice job. Steadfast almost losing your Queen as well, but the Liberator getting 4 kills and backing off. And oh, is he going to actually get the Queen? That would be so tragic. Oh no, alright. Kills it off.
Thankfully he was able to finally stop the harassment. The Liberator does go down. We do see Steadfast is going straight into a lair. There we go. The Bane Nest is being thrown down as well. Previously we did see, I could be misremembering, but Steadfast, I believe he's one to go for mutas, so he could go for Lingbane muta. We'll see. We'll see how that works out here.
He definitely went mutas in his last series, and so I'm curious to see if he'll continue that trend and go mutas again. Now, this is a different matchup, but still, mutas are an interesting choice here. And especially considering you're so far behind, there's just so many Marines. It is scary to be a Zerg player here. Oh no, losing Queens and drones. That's not fun to see.
Is this it? Like, that's devastating. That's devastating. 13, 14 more drones go down. The third is under threat. There are no Banelings to deal with this, so he doesn't even need to split against Lings.
And no Banelings at all. The Baneling Nest isn't even done as the Marines, they just stand and fight. Lots of upgrades finishing up right now. Combat Shield 1-1, all finishing up soon. And like, Zerg has upgrades, yeah, but no units to use them.
Exactly. Almost all the Queens go down. Like, the Lings, like the Marines, this Marine drop, it's just gonna end the game, mate. Like, 21 drones and the third goes down.
That's absolute worst case scenario. And then he just boosts off and like, yeah, there's another base, but like, is there really another base? He lost so many drones there. Oof.
Oh my god. And GG gets called. Steadfast taps out.
Poor Steadfast, man. He's getting bullied.
Oh god, I've been there before. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Where your Bailey Nest is just a little bit too late, or you're too greedy and you don't morph any in, and the Marines come in, and I'm ashamed to admit that Yaku has done that to me once before. That's
it caused definitely every Zerg player has been there, done that, and then felt horrible about it afterwards. Just like, not quite. It's like you had a not great opener. It's like, and then your Bailey Nest was late because, and just like one thing leads to another, and suddenly you find yourself losing your third base and 21 drones to 16 Marines.
Yep. And without Banelings, you just feel so helpless, you know. You know, like what do you do? It's GG.
Lose, I suppose. But...
Yeah, yep. You just GG out. Oh god, Eurystheus does take game number 1. Everything going right for him there. All the harassment, the Hellions, the Liberators, everything. Whew, but hopefully Steadfast is able to shake it off, kind of reset a little bit, take a breather, and get into game number 2 a little bit fresh.
Yes, hopefully. I would love to see a Steadfast win in game number 2. Eurystheus is just like, he played so well that game. I'm a bit scared for my boy Steadfast, but like I'd love to see him take this game and like, you know, maybe provide an interesting series here.
Oh yeah. I hope so, as well as we are getting into game number 2. It is going to be on Oxide. Let's go 3, 2, 1. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Oxide LE, we have the Canadian Zerg player. He is red. He is representing Team Exxon. It is Steadfast.
And in the top right-hand corner of this map, give it up for the blue Terran player representing America and Cosmic Cloud Militia. He is Eurystheus.
Our Terran player looking really crisp there in game 1.
That was painful to watch as a Zerg player. Just like nothing went well from start to finish. And like you have those ladder games occasionally where just like nothing seems to go quite right. You're just like maybe a second or two too slow on literally everything, and suddenly it just snowballs into this like horrible mess where you're losing 21 drones. But like Eurystheus just like played it super cleanly. You got to give props to Eurystheus. I feel like that was more his strength than necessarily Steadfast playing poorly.
Oh, yeah, and I'm excited. Like I'm really excited to see how how he's able to prosper this year, because again, like he looks good, and we've seen him sign up for more and more weeklies. I would be happy to see him you know, I don't know, make some kind of run in DreamHack. I know DreamHack for NA is really competitive and there aren't that many spots, but who knows, maybe he can make some magic happen there.
Yeah, and who knows, maybe in a couple of years we'll see him at IEM Catavis.
Yeah.
You never know. Anyone can be the next Serral, just climbing up. It does take a while to climb up to be that good, but eventually you'll get there.
Yeah. I mean, right now he's in Code A, but could be looking strong to get into Code S next season. Like that's kind of your stepping stone. That's the point of this event for the NA region. You know, have them something to work towards. Have them a reason to give them a reason to improve.
Exactly. As Steadfast, he is going to get his third base. Oh, just barely up. The Reaper tries to deny it, but not quite able to. And yeah, nice job. And now we have just a normal game once again. The 1-1-1 stock standard reactor.
Yeah, we'll see if he does the same thing. Again, 1-1-1 is pretty versatile. Like, we can see the starport switch with the racks. We can see like a Banshee or a Raven or some kind of different opener. So we'll see.
And then the Reaper peeking into the main base and saying, "Oh, hi, Queen. Let me eat 2 of your shots and then run away." As I would do that starport on the way in the reactor switch, nothing too terribly out of the ordinary just yet.
Yeah, the players just getting into their regular games. I'm curious to see how Steadfast switches things up, whether he just goes for an earlier Baneling Nest and delays an Evo Chamber or something like that, or if he just, you know, thinks to himself, like, what I was doing was fine, I was just a little bit late on certain things, so I'm just going to tighten up as best I can.
A really nice job by Steadfast. He sees the swap this time around. He does see everything, and so now he knows that there's a potential for Banshee. There's a potential on a Raven.
Interesting. So I was lucky enough to see this over the weekend. I can't quite remember the Terran player. I think it may have been the Mexican player Sinner. But yeah, if you go heavy with Hellions with a single Raven, you don't necessarily use the Raven to harass, but you just control the heck out of that creep and just deny it as best you can.
Yeah, it's a very interesting decision to me because I feel like Eurystheus just had such a clean and crisp multitasking game one that I was very curious to see if he would do it again, just because maybe you can out mechanics his opponent potentially, but going for the Raven gives. I feel like this is showing that Eurystheus has a lot of respect for Steadfast as a player. And so, props to Eurystheus for playing that just a bit safer as he gets his third base and additional racks.
Yeah, definitely. It's really cool that he switches things up and, he has the versatility to do so. He respects his opponent enough to do so. And what I also like from Steadfast is he's also playing differently. He's delaying his evos, unlike last time, getting an earlier Baneling Nest, more importantly, getting a very fast lair.
I'd love to see what he has planned for this layer, maybe a super early Hydro Den once he hits his 66 drone count, which he is a bit of a ways off from, and so he does need a drone just a bit harder and maybe get a fourth base up, which on this map is somewhat difficult.
Yeah, it definitely can be. As we see right now, Eurystheus, he's just sharking around the edges of the creep with his Hellions, really denying any kind of force from being thrown down for the moment. But I'm a little bit concerned because, again, what was that lair for? We still don't see anything quite yet.
Yeah, just going for the early. Maybe it's just a way I should spend my gas on something, so I should get a lair, right? But he'll have early rain speed, but he hasn't started his baiting speed yet. He hasn't really gotten any layer tech to signify use of his lair. Maybe it's just I will get it because, but this is a bit confusing to see.
Yeah. I also thought that it would have at least been for a faster Baneling speed, because lair's been done for a while. Why not get that out as soon as possible? It's such an important upgrade, but still hasn't quite started yet, as we just see pretty normal things going on. Just the 1-1, 1-1 upgrades. Maybe he wanted to deceive his opponent if Eurystheus went for a scan or a scout, but I don't know.
Well, he goes, regardless, he's going for a fourth base in a macro hatch, which, you kind of like to see, but it always feels a little bit bad to make that macro hatch just because, at least for me, generally speaking, I just like to take more bases and, maybe I might not be able to inject it that well, but I'll, if I get 5 bases versus 3 instead of 4 versus 3, it feels a bit better.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, and I don't know if you saw it, but are you talking about that second Baneling Nest?
Yeah, the second Baneling Nest,
such a shame. Maybe he was gonna go for an earlier Baneling speed, but he just somehow missed the Baneling Nest, so he thinks he doesn't have it, so he's gonna remake it. We did see a scan in the main base, so he saw everything. He saw the macro hatch at least. Is unaware of the Hydro Den.
So he does have that going for him. The Hydro Den is still yet to be scouted. However, just that second Baneling Nest, and he still hasn't started his Baneling speed. Man. Are you starting it now on the second Baneling Nest? And the first one will just sit here and feel bad, I guess.
It's that neglected first child. Feels bad, man.
Hey, everyone, you have to screw up your first child in order to raise your second properly.
Oh god, feels bad, man. Too true. Oh god, as Eurystheus is pushing out into the center of the map, Baneling speed is not done. We have Lings though, we have a bunch of slow Banes. Hydras are on the way.
Yeah, but are the Hydras going to be out in time? There's quite a lot of Hellbats and Siege, or even Siege tanks. There's Raven. There's just so much here for the Terran. And some Banelings going down, and one Hydra wandering in at an inopportune time. And maybe he has to jump on it now, but with no Baneling speed, this is going to be so rough.
Exactly, but you can't wait for Baneling speed. It's still so far away as the Terran is just pushing on forward. Auto turrets are being thrown down, and there's just nothing to stop this heavy Marine army.
Yeah, man, poor Steadfast. Maybe nerves got to him, because it feels so bad, because he had the perfect build. I'll get a super fast Baneling speed. I'll crush any early aggression with Ling Bane and some Hydra. And then I'll play that macro, but just not quite getting the Baneling speed. Maybe just forgot that he went for it, because he almost always goes for the Evo Chambers, but losing 2 bases to this army, that feels so horrible.
Exactly. Finally, Baneling speed is done, but at this stage, the damage has already been dealt. It looks like he will be able to clean up the tanks. Maybe he can get a connection here as well, but ooh, nice focus fire.
Yeah, really nice job by Eurystheus to not take like too much damage from those Banelings. Like he did take some damage, losing a couple of tanks and like maybe 1 or 2 Marines, but like really, really nice job to not lose his whole clump to Marines and like actually move command or something. Good micro, and Eurystheus just is like so far ahead at this point.
Oh yeah.
Bad.
Oh boy, he's just gonna keep getting more ahead as he's going for a bit of a jump, headed towards the new 4th base of Steadfast. I say 4th, I guess that's kind of the 3rd. Steadfast in a really bad position with only 2 bases mining right now. Thankfully, Eurystheus isn't pushing out with the main brunt, the main force of his army, so Steadfast has a little bit of time here to try and get back into this.
Oh, I really like this play. Like, this might have been an accident, but, like, loading onto 2 separate locations, just, like, in case he gets jumped on right away, I think it was super smart.
Yeah,
I mean, now he's climbing up, but now there's no Baneling, so you can just sit and fight.
Yeah, he shaves off what links he can. He is forced to back off, but he keeps the Metarax alive. At the same time, the main army is looking to push into the center of the map once again.
Yes, and with a 4th base up from the Terran player, and the 3rd/4th base of our Zerg going down once again, I feel like Steadfast is just in between a rock and a hard place, because he has upgrades. He has, like, a good army, or a good-ish army anyways, but he's still down, like, 40 supply.
Exactly. Like, he just doesn't have the economy, he doesn't have the larva, or I guess he does because he has the macro hatch, but yeah, he still needs a little bit more time to get another base or another 2 bases up and running. Eurystheus shouldn't give him that time. He is still dancing around the outskirts of the creep, but he's just waiting for his reinforcements.
Yeah, the reinforcements are here. Does have more siege tanks. There's only 2 siege tanks, and so maybe if like he gets the world's best Baneling connections, maybe like Eurystheus like falls asleep at the keyboard. He gets a phone call and he's like, "Oh hey, sup?" Like Steadfast has a good chance, but like still, it just feels so bad to be in as a Zerg player.
Yeah, exactly. Like Eurystheus, he already pre-splits. Like Steadfast, he's trying to engage into this army a little bit mistimed. It looks like he loses the fight on the right-hand side, wins on the left, but there is not enough Banelings.
Yeah, GG gets called, and well done by Eurystheus. Or however you say it, as he takes game number 2 and the series.
GG, well played. He does take the series, and now we are going to follow him. But kind of a winner's match, I guess. Another TVZ.
Yes. Do you have any really interesting predictions for this one? This is Eon versus Eurystheus, and so we do get to see who comes out in first versus second. As unfortunately, the Canadian player Steadfast seems to have been eliminated.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't feel too bad. Again, like, especially like his ZVZ versus Eon was pretty good. Here against Eurystheus, it just felt a little bit unfortunate. Just things weren't really going his way. Like, it felt like he was a little bit overwhelmed by the Terran.
Yeah, really unfortunate. But hey, these things happen, and it's just like, Eurystheus is just like such a clean player, and like unfortunately for Steadfast, he isn't quite at the level yet where he is like, he is almost ready to compete in the ESL NA region, all the top tournaments. Whereas like I feel like Eurystheus, he's almost at that level.
Yeah,
like maybe just like not quite there yet, but getting there.
Yeah, definitely. Which is why I'm excited. I'm actually excited for this series. Like, I want to see. I feel like these 2 players, they are a little bit closer in skill. And although I would still favor Eon, I want to see Eurystheus do well. Like, he looks so clean against Steadfast. Can he maintain that form against Eon? I hope so.
We'll have to find out. Yeah, as I'm ready when you are.
All right, let's get into our final series of Group D, our final series of the night. We are loading into game number 1. 3, 2, 1. And spawning in the top left hand corner of Lightshade LE, we have the American Terran. He is representing Cloud Militia. Believe this. Hold on. Cosmic Cloud Militia. It is Eurystheus.
eventually we got there. As spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, representing Team Salpapilla Gaming. Give it up for the purple Zerg player from Costa Rica, Eon.
Oh boy. And I'm excited. I'm not too sure if Eon is much of a Lingbane Muta player. But regardless, I hope they at least for this game so far it looks good. There's no proxies. I want a solid at least mid to late game between these two guys.
I want to see the I would also love to see the super classic, like quadruple M versus Lingbane Muta. That has been so popular and like the meta for so many years. But like, no proxies this time, so no win rate complaints, the proxy 2x/3x in tournaments just yet.
Yeah, Eurystheus, he wants to give Eon a chance. Like obviously he could go for the free win if he wants to, but he does decide to back off, and he wants to work for it.
Exactly, because like, why take something for free when you can save that, and maybe, and just in case you need it, you can use your free builds, your free wins.
There you go. Which we may see later on in this series. As so far, everything is pretty standard between these two players. You know, I would imagine we're going to see a 1-1-1 again from Eurystheus. But again, so far what I like from him is from the two games that we saw, he did two different builds, or two different variants of the same 1-1-1. So he has a lot of variety available to him. Yeah,
I really like Eurystheus mixing it up so much. And it also makes Eon's job harder because, for example, maybe Eurystheus played Steadfast first, and then Eon could maybe ask us, hey, what did he do versus you? And it's like, oh, he did these two builds. Whereas if he went like battle cruisers every time, for example, then like Eon would know like, oh, I got to prepare for battle cruisers versus players who can really do basically anything.
Yeah, definitely. I imagine they also hit each other on the ladder as well, on the NA ladder that is, so maybe they face each other there, and they're kind of aware of how they've aware of each other and what they prefer to do. We'll see, as we do see a bit of a switch here. Again, that 1-1-1 coming out from Eurystheus.
Yes, everything standard so far. The tech lab will probably eventually be next from the racks. As you might make a depot first here and there, but standard stuff from the other side. As Reaper is getting a really nice scout it off, but he might die on the side to the Lings, but now he just barely managed to swing past them. And going down, unfortunate. Like, not quite able to get out, but still really good scout regardless.
Yeah, he did confirm, the gases. He confirmed that there was no early lair or anything too crazy like that. And this time Eurystheus is doing something that we haven't seen so far. He's going for some Hellbats.
I really like Hellbats. I feel like it's a very good litmus test for an opponent. Because like, because there's so many builds that like just straight up die to Hellbats if you don't scout them. However, they're also the builds that are kind of trendy because it's like you can avoid saying, oh, I love this. With BCs as a follow-up, ooh, I'm intrigued.
This is disgusting. We'll see how this does here. As I completely agree, it is like the Hellbat pushes is kind of like testing your opponents. A good player shouldn't die, but like if you're able to break the defenses, then you can come out quite ahead. So we shall see as he immediately picks up some Marines, goes across the map. And what does Eon have to defend? He has a decent amount of Lings, only a handful of Queens.
Yeah, and there are not insane amounts of Hellbats. There are only 6 so far. And so he can maybe kind of guess that something is up as these Hellbats are marching in, and that is a lot of Queens.
Oh yeah, definitely. They have a little bit of energy for transfuse as well, as the Hellbats do get surrounded by the Lings. The Lings get cleaned up, but there isn't enough here to pose a threat to the Queens.
Yeah, and the 2 Marines and Hellbat will get boosted out by the medevac. Unfortunately, there's so many Queens and Nidus. I really like this from Eon. A really smart response. Like, he's got an overlord in position already. It's going to make Eurystheus' life so difficult, especially considering he has basically no units at home. He has Hellions and a BC.
This is like worst case scenario for Eurystheus. Like if he had gone for like a Banshee opener, at least he would have one, maybe two Banshees ready for this. But the Nidus is about to finish up. I was about to point this out earlier. Eon had gone for an early lair, so he was planning to go for this, you know, since almost the beginning. And here we go. The Nidus is going up into the main.
No, the Nidus is up, but is it scouted? I don't think it's actually scouted. He knows it's there, but he can't do anything. He has one Marine is not going to deny a Nidus network, and these queens are coming.
Oh god, and there are just so many queens with this. As you said before, there's a BC on the way, but once it comes out, what's it really going to do against all these queens?
And in the meanwhile, there's so many Zerglings flooding out as well. Like, the Hellbats will be good against the Zerglings, and like maybe the queens, but like really there's just so much here for Zerg. On the other side of the map, like what really can Eurystheus do? He's losing so many SCVs already. Another Nidus Worm spewing Zerglings into the natural base. Love to see it, as the BC is trying to repair it as best he can, but there's just still so much here.
Yeah, honestly, I'm really impressed with the repair. It does keep the BC alive. It looks like the Hellbats may be enough to push the queens back into that Nidus, but at the same time, there's another Nidus in the natural. He just goes from one base to the other.
Yeah, I know, just like playing whack-a-mole effectively. This natural base is like taking so much damage. The queens are here. And I would have also loved to see maybe a Spore Crawler or something, but regardless, he's still got more. And another Nidus in the main base. Oh, man.
What can the Terran do? He's basically got one base mining. You were talking about it before, whack-a-mole. You know, he goes back into the Nidus here, into the natural. He just jumps into the main. Eurystheus, what can he do from here? Like, to be fair, he's not that far behind in the work account.
You know, he's not like completely dead or out of the game by any stretch of the imagination, but he's just got like so many problems to deal with, and he doesn't have like great solutions for them. Because like he is finally starting to clean everything up, but just like there's still queens in the main base, and there's like a BC now that will do some, but like there's no Yamato. It's not what we want to see.
Definitely. There is an opportunity here though, like because he does have these BCs, and I did just check, like the third base of Eon is pretty exposed. If Eurystheus just went for a YOLO teleport across the map, I would love it. But we'll see how much time he gives to Eon, because Eurystheus, he's about to have 3 CCs up and running. Like, he can remake the workers that he lost.
Yes, and that YOLO, ask and you shall receive. Teleporting right across the map. One of the BCs gets fairly red, but it's nice transfuses by the queens, and more queens are here to do what they can, as these BCs like get a good amount of damage, but like not the most amount of damage.
Yeah, regardless, though, damage was done, and I think that's the important part. For the most part, the worker count has equalized from here. We do have Eon going into Hydras, but immediately the main was scouted. All the tech has been spotted.
As in the upgrades, they are on the way. There aren't any Hydra upgrades just yet, but he does get a couple of roaches, so he's like playing safe. I feel like he's very worried about like mech, and understandably so. There's so many Hellbats. There's still like no extra racks or anything, but this game is in such a weird state. I'm very curious to see what Eurystheus ends up going for.
Exactly, like despite so many Hellions and Hellbats, this doesn't necessarily mean mech. It could, but yeah, it just doesn't have really the room to tech up and throw down more production buildings so far. We do see another Nidus in the center of the map, but there isn't any real big threat at the moment, and yeah, things are kind of calming down a little bit. Oh, here come the queens though.
The queens are coming. There is quite a big army, and the one thing about like playing on Hellbat BCs, you can't make Hellbat BC forever. Eventually you have to make other units. At least I assume so. Like, standard logic would tell me as the BCs are teleporting, things are here, and roaches are moving across the map. Ooh, this is going to be an interesting, like, semi-base race, maybe?
Yeah, like, there's nothing here. Like, the queens, they were in the center of the map, so they had to go back into the Nidus, back into the main, and then wall to the third. So the third does go down, and the roaches actually turn around. They didn't commit to any kind of attack.
BC also pops out, so what a cleanup. So I really like the turning around. As the Hellbats are here and they're getting on top of the queens, you kind of want to start to step them back, but there is quite a large amount of Roach Hydra here, forcing this group of Hellbat BC, I guess, back.
Oh yeah, that they do, and now we have confirmation. Eurystheus, he throws down 2 more factories. He's committing to this mech style with these BCs, which I don't mind, but it's gonna take a while to really ramp up into production. Like, Hellbats don't do that well at the moment.
Yeah, and especially considering just how many roaches there are, you like these Hellbats aren't going to be doing all that much for quite a long time. Like, yeah, they're good to have, they're nice filler, but they're filler more so than anything else. And you really want them like to kind of buffer for other units. And for now, that's BCs, but eventually you want tanks and things. So this is a massive army knocking on the front door.
Yeah, exactly. Hydras, queens, a couple of roaches to help support, and the third base is forced to be evacuated. I do like the addition of banshees. It looked like maybe he was trying to focus down the detection, but there's no cloak, so he can't really go for anything cheeky like that.
And Yamato is finally on the way, but I feel like it's too little too late. If he had gotten Yamato much earlier, he would have been able to like just constantly be trading against this and dealing damage. However, there is like not that much anti-air, only a couple of queens and hydras, but more reinforcements pouring out of the Nidus network and walking across the map as well. Just man, there's just so much here, and I don't know if the repair is going to be enough.
Yeah, exactly. He's just trading so efficiently. Like, as the game progresses, like, the roaches are getting kills on those SCVs. There are a couple of Widow Mines, but they're just going to tickle these roaches and these hydras as Eon is pushing once again into the natural. The natural is getting low, forced to repair.
Oh man, this is a really bad spot to be in. There are only 2 BCs left, and I don't think that's enough to beat this army. There's just so much anti-air, more Hydra Queen coming out, so much transfuse energy on one of these queens, and it's just such a feels bad moment.
To be fair, I'm impressed by how long these VCs stayed alive, but GG finally gets called, and Eon takes game number 1.
What a game, and how many kills did those BCs get? It was like 20 on one. I think it was like 23 on another. Like, absolutely wrecking face, but just not quite enough.
Eurystheus, unfortunately, not quite Protoss with shield batteries. Repair is good. It's not that good.
Yeah, you can't click like one button on your Nexus and then click on a shield battery, have all units just never die.
Unfortunately not. Unfortunately not. But that was a very interesting game. Again, we just see more and more coming out from Eurystheus. That time coming out with mech. We're trying to come out with mech.
Yeah. Trying to, yes. Another style, and I'm wondering, do you think he's going to pull out another unique style for game number 2?
Oh, I wouldn't put it past him. I wouldn't mind something like a 2-1-1 like we saw before, because I feel like now Eon is showing his colors. Like, this is the Eon that I know. I know Eon as the guy who goes for these big all-ins, using Niduses, using Dropper Lords, doing whatever he can to get ahead in the early game, to get, you know, into that mid game or late game with that nice lead. This is what at least I've seen him do time and time again. So Eurystheus, he has to tighten up a little bit. He was a little bit too greedy, you know, going straight into BCs, going for a fast third base. He didn't really have much to defend the initial Nidus.
Exactly. But hey, you know, this is a new game, a new chance, this time on a new map. And so I'm very excited to see what these two have in store for us today.
Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed, not going to lie. We have not had Submarine yet.
I know, we're losing Map Bingo tonight. Unfortunate.
God damn it. I think we may have had everything else but that. But here we go. We are going to be getting into game number 2. And
I think we are.
Yes, that we are. 3, 2, 1. And spawning in the top right hand corner of Pillars of Gold LE, we have our American Terran representing Cosmic Cloud Militia. It is Eurystheus.
And in the bottom left-hand corner, representing the Zerg race, Costa Rica, and Team Sopapilla Gaming. Give it up for Jan.
So, I'm a little bit concerned. We've had a lot of variety coming out from our Terran. I'm concerned we're gonna have too much, and then he may just go like turtle mech. You know, that's
I mean, I've got like nothing planned for the next like couple hours. Like, I'm down for a couple of tournament games.
Oh god.
Like, let's get 2 8-hour games where they mine out the map and they both lose. What that would be an interesting way to end the night with like, because there's an actual, for those of you who don't know, there's an actual timer in StarCraft. After like 8.5 hours ish, you just get booted out, and like, that's good enough. You can we're no longer playing. Both of you deserve a loss for that one.
Oh god, I remember it was really controversial when that happened because that was only introduced in Legacy of the Void, right? Or at least
I'm not sure, actually.
If I remember, it was introduced in Legacy of the Void. In Legacy of the Void, in the ladder, right? There's like a timer in the ladder game? Question mark?
There is. I think there's I'm not sure if there's a timer in customs, but I believe there is. I would have to check with someone, but that involves sitting there for 8 hours, like not having the draw timer. So maybe not anytime soon.
Okay.
As it's like the big problem with, because like I remember it was like Jason versus I don't remember who it was. It was Jason versus some Zerg player, and like they hit the draw timer.
Oh my god!
On ladder.
Shaking my head. I guess that's impressive because it used to be a lot easier to make something like that happen in Heart of the Swarm, with the old Swarm host and like the energy based units. But yeah, wow.
And so, but yeah, with in Legacy of the Void, they actually hit the draw timer, which is interesting as the extractor does get canceled. So 3 hash before any gas. So playing gasless, an interesting strategy from Eon mixing up. I don't think this is something we've seen at Aldenite.
We have not. So I imagine he's going to be going straight into Roaches? Question mark.
That's a very like common response. Another thing that I have seen quite often out of this this like gasless play is that like 38 drone double gas, like you just get Ravager Zergling. You get enough for Baneling or for Zergling speed. You maybe get a 3rd gas as well, since it's a bit easier off 41 drones. It is up a 38. And you just get like a whole bunch of Ravagers and Zerglings to just go for it. And just your economy is so nice, but it also hits like a solid like 15-ish seconds later. And so it's definitely a trade-off. As Banshees, another new style.
Okay. I do like this from the Terran, especially because, so he went in and I'm pretty sure he scouted the late gas. So he should have some kind of inkling as to what Eon is going for. And going for Banshees against Roaches, I feel is so ideal, especially defensively if Eon is looking to be aggressive.
Yes, I really, really like just like making Banshees, and what a slick play by Eon. The Evo Chamber and the gas, just like no killing drones for you. Really, really well done, as that Roach Warren is finishing up, and there's no Zergling speed, so it's looking to be like, if he is putting on pressure, he is doing it with just Roaches / Ravagers.
Yeah, this could also be a response to Game 1, where Game 1 Eurystheus tries to go into mech, so maybe he's just wants to skip the Lings completely, and he wants to have a better army against something like Hellions and Hellbats, blindly, but yeah, we'll see what happens here. He's going for another lair. Do you think he's going to go for like another Nidus?
Maybe. He also might just went for like, you know what, you're probably going mech. You did it in the last game. I'm going to go Roach Hydra, and then felt like scouting too much. And then, surprise, surprise, it's actually a bio play with Stim starting anytime now. And a bunker in the natural even. Interesting.
Yeah, he's playing this a lot safer, right? Like, despite getting the 3rd CC, like he's going down that bunker. He's making sure he has vision all over the place, just in case something does come out from Eon. Meanwhile, Eon, I believe he was able to scout the opener, so he is throwing down spores.
Yeah, I love the spore crawlers, and these Banshees are getting so much done that these Roaches, they are dead anyways. So just like shoving them into the Hellions isn't a bad call. Yeah, getting a little damage done too, which is very nice.
Yeah, I'm just really concerned, like, what does Eon have in store for us next? Because he invested a fair amount into those Roaches, now they're dead. Alright, there it is, Hydras.
and road speed, interestingly enough. And so Roach Hydra versus Bio is interesting because like Bio can deal so much damage like so quickly that it's really difficult as the Roach Hydra player to not die, because you really need big armies. And you get them very quickly, but you need to like get the economy of the index going. And if Eurystheus can interrupt the like snowball that Eon's trying to create, then I feel like Eurystheus can easily run away with this game.
Yeah, definitely. It's just so concerning because Eon already traded away so many roaches early on, so his overall army supply is going to suffer as a result. And pretty soon, Eurystheus, he's going to be coming out, you know, with that stim, with that 1-1 timing. And will Eon have enough on the ground to defend, have enough roaches and have enough hydras? He's still on 3 bases.
Excellent question. Yeah, no, 3 base versus 3 base is not the situation you want to be in as a Zerg player, as these benches are just getting insane damage done, 6 and 7 kills apiece, and adding more to their name before finally looking like they're going to be going down. Unfortunately, not enough dead space here on Golden Wall.
So it does, they do get cleaned up, thankfully. Eon is droning up pretty heavily behind this. And he should be safe for the time being. I'm still waiting for another base. I kind of want him to like almost double expand at this point. I don't know.
Yeah, this just feels so late. Like where's your 4th? Like at this point, like, yeah, he's taking a 4th base now by the looks of it. But like get a 4th base, like I'd even triple expand even as a Zerg player. Like, yeah, I might like lose a base or two, but I'll definitely be ahead in bases. And
yeah,
this just feels so late as a lurker den goes down. Ooh.
Okay, so I guess he's looking to be the more defensive player, question mark? Right, like getting a couple of lurkers out and securing your bases. Like, he's got plenty of upgrades on the way, but it's still just 1-1 that's about to finish up for Eon. I don't know about this.
I know, this is interesting. As we do have a Hellion run by, it looks like it's not going to be getting too much done. There's a decent amount of units in position. It looks like they will get like 5 or 6 drones, but like still nice job keeping everything, maybe even less than that, excuse me, but still keeping everything nice and clean.
Yeah, Eon is able to defend. You know, he is getting his 4th base up. He is taking up as well, trying to get into the swing of things. Like, he has a nice drone lead at least, but Eurystheus, like, he's getting fully saturated on 3 bases. Like, the rest of his production is going to be kicking in soon. I'm just really concerned about this. Like, like, because of how late the 4th was, I would almost have wanted Eon to like maybe delay his upgrades a little bit further to get into a faster hive, to just go straight into like Vipers or something, just like tech up or like something other than this. I don't know, this is scary.
Yeah, this is terrifying because like a lot of Terran players, it's like on 5 racks will like take a 4cc and like, yeah, they have like, it's like okay to take it at that time, but still it's like it's so early, especially compared to like what Eon is at and with that such delayed 4th base. I would have loved to see Eurystheus like take a 4th base, and that 4cc could be done by now with the 5th on the way if he had gone that route. But instead he decided to power more on 3 bases, get a bunch of units. And like really good upgrades, and so he's like gonna hit a really crisp 2-2 timing, but his economy behind it leaves something to be desired.
True, very true. I'm just, but like this timing is gonna hit so hard. This 2-2 timing for Eurystheus is like, there's just so many Marines. There's 4 tanks here. To be fair, there's like what, 6 lurkers. So maybe Eon can hold on here. It's all about how Eurystheus decides to engage.
And right now there's only 1 scan, and he sees the lurker, so he has to be incredibly careful. I would not even hate to see like getting a Raven somehow out of this. That's like involves like maybe building with their starport or something, but like just so many with lurkers, it's terrifying. He's going for a Doom drop. I love to see this.
Oh god, yeah, the majority of the army was out of position. There are a couple of Hydras coming in here, but again, these Marines, they can just stim on top of them.
Yeah, no, Marines are pretty good at trading into Hydras. There is a Lurker now or 2, but like, Lurkers are starting to get focus fire down, and he does get 3 Lurkers. There are 2 do burrow, and he does get out like 16 whole Marines, and there's still an army here.
Exactly, and now all the Lurkers are out of position. They were all brought into the main base. None are here to defend the 4th.
really nice job by Eurystheus, really pulling and prodding Eon just with the slower army, is not able to be in position, and now he just has to do something, so he's moving out. Eon's like, screw it, I'm gonna go across the map, let's get that damage done.
Yeah, I mean, I don't fault him for this, right? Let's go for the base trade. I kind of wish that he did this a little bit sooner, but he realizes the situation he's in, and now we're full on Clan Fiesta, mate. This base trade, let's go.
Yeah, base trade is beginning, but there is so many siege tanks here. This feels bad if you're Eon, and like fighting up a ramp into siege tanks is the absolute worst case scenario, as they just shell and shell away. He tries to micro forward, but these siege tanks are dealing so much damage.
To begin with, there were 5 tanks in the natural. That was absolutely insane. Eon cannot break in. Meanwhile, Eurystheus, he's already going into the main base. He scans, he gets on top of the lurkers.
The lurkers, they do run away, and they do manage to get out of the scan, but there's another one. Unlucky for your lurkers, and that main base is forfeit. Lurker, Den, and the Hive is going down, and on the other side of things, yeah, you're getting a base, which is nice, but like losing out on like 3 of your bases when you're down to like 1.5, I guess. That's not what you want to see.
Not at all. Like, Eon isn't dealing anywhere near as much damage as he just lost his main. He's gonna lose his natural. He's down to 1 hatchery, and how long is that gonna stand?
Not very. I feel like he can. I don't even know if he can like push into the natural. Like, I feel like Eon's been checkmated. He just hasn't he didn't quite have the lurkers defensively in time, and so he lost out like so early on to multi problem.
Yeah, exactly. That was beautifully done by Eurystheus. GG does get called, and he ties up the series 1-1.
We've got an ace match to decide who gets first place in our final game of the night and our final group of NA Apprentice Code A. I believe it is.
That it is.
So I'm very curious. Who do you think is going to come out on top play? Because that was an interesting game.
That was dominant from Eurystheus, I would say. That was interesting decision making by Eon, because in general, personally, I'm not too fond of like Roach Hydra Lurker against Bio. It can work, obviously. Like, I mean, look at Dark in Korea. You know, he almost every single DVT, like, he tries to make Roaches work, and he does it to great effect. But here, Eon was looking a little bit shaky with that, you know, just incredibly late, like, 4th base, late tech it felt as well. Yeah.
Something definitely felt rocky about that game.
Yeah.
I feel like Eon just, like, wasn't, like, quite able to, like, really get anything going at all. And unfortunately, like, it's an interesting style, and it's a style that I really enjoy myself, CVT, but it's so if something goes wrong, it's so easy for that to just fall apart so quickly, because you cannot respond to drops nearly as efficiently as you can with like Ling Van Muta.
Yeah.
Which can cause some issues.
I think the weird thing about that last game was that it felt rocky for Eon, but like it's like he made it hard on himself. Like, it's not like Eurystheus did anything to kind of shake Eon, right? It was just kind of like a weird build almost.
Yeah, it feels like something like, no, Eon's a much better player than me, but it feels like something I do when like someone goes mech like twice in a row, and like, oh, so they're a mech player.
Yeah.
And then so it's like I do my guarantee going mech and do like all my anti-mech things, and something like Bio, what?
That's actually exactly how it looked, actually. Yeah, like he was blindly assuming what his opponent was going to be going for. But we will see how things shape up here in the ace match as we are loading in to game number 3. 3, 2, 1. As we are in Death Aura LE and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of this map, we have our American Terran player. He is blue. He is representing Cosmic Cloud Militia. It is Eurystheus.
And in the top left-hand corner, representing Team Sopopia Gaming, Costa Rica, and the Zerg race, give it up for Eon.
Ooh, Eon going for a pull first.
Ooh, that's cheeky. I'm wondering. All right, so there are two really common builds when going pool first right now. And I believe Lambo made a guide on one of them. And it's like the old school, like railgun pool gas hatch. Like you do 3 Ravager pressure, which is very strong. And then there's the pool hatch gas, like 5 roach pressure. And so you can kind of do like Ravager pressure with both, with either build, with pool hatch gas. And so he's getting a hatch next and then a gas. So I'm very curious to see exactly what this is, because the 5 roach pressure is super strong right now. You can also always go for 3 roaches, although it is a bit weaker if you're going only 3 roaches and you're going to be hatched before the gas. But regardless, still lots of options and lots of potential in this game for Eon.
Yeah, definitely. And you could argue that on a map like Death Aura with these speed zones, like maybe roaches or like these Hydra pushes can deal, Ravager pushes can deal more damage, and maybe catch Eurystheus off guard. He does go for an SCV scout, so he is aware of the earlier pool.
Yes, and there are Zerglings heading across the map already, and so they aren't here to shoo away the SCV that will hide away, just in case there is any Roach Horn. But there's no Roach Horn at all, actually. Maybe this is going to turn into like just a Zergling speed. Like, yeah, I'll just play standard with the early, just in case. You know, I saw what Mogar did to those poor Zerg players, and I'm not let that happen to me. Just in case you're doing any proxies, let's shut that down nice and early.
Yeah, and that's what it seems to be so far. Like, he did scout around the right-hand side of the map as well with his Overlord just to make sure there wasn't a proxy. So I guess it was for safety more than anything. He shouldn't be able to delay this natural for too long because the Reaper did stay at home, but gets on top of the SCV.
And it looks like he might just be able to get the SCV, as there isn't really anything pulled. It does get pulled into the main base, and these unfortunately it is very fast. And it looks like the Zerglings will go down to the Marine and Reaper, and so the CC does get delayed, but not too much, like you did say.
Yeah. In the end, the SCV did stay alive, so far so good for Eurystheus, and yeah, we're just kind of transitioning from here. No early Roach Horn or anything crazy like that. He doesn't skip Link Speed. He is still working on it.
Yes, really nice job by our both players. They're checking all their boxes, like even so far as to mix up your build, just to like create a bit of a different scenario for your opponent. Because like now you kind of want the bunker. Just in case, like, what if it's slightly later roaches? Like, what if I'm missing something? Just like that paranoia in your head is always fun to have as the Zerg player versus Terran.
Definitely, and I love this. Like this is, we've seen something different every single time we've seen Eurystheus play here in his TVZs. Like just a completely different opener, and here this time it looks like, are we gonna have a Widowmine drop? Okay, never mind. Only one.
It's like one Widowmine. Like this is interesting. It's because it looks like it's gonna be like a Hellion drop of some kind. It has a Widowmine, like, and like a couple of Marines. It's like you can deal quite a lot of pressure with this at a weird time Zerg isn't expecting, because like a couple of Hellions, a Widowmine, a couple of Marines are a lot scarier than you'd think.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see what he can get done here. More importantly, we'll see if he can scout the tech structure. Actually, he already has with his Reaper. He has already seen the Roach Horn that is in production.
The Roaches once again. I'm curious to see I'm curious what Eon's thought process was for the Roach Horn, because like playing like Ravager Ling Bane or just like straight up Roach Ravager versus Terran always feels a little bit bad, but like maybe he just wants them just in case anything goes wrong. Also, what's his drone kind of? He might actually just be going for that like Ravager Ling all in.
Yeah. Here. He has barely droned up. He has stopped the drone production, making nothing but roaches. He is looking to move out at the same time that drop is going into the main.
Yes, and he does have that Widowmine in the drop, which is going to unload, and it will maybe get a good connection here. As 6 drone kills. That's not what you want. As these Marines, they are getting on top of the drones, and there isn't really a response to them.
I mean, what's important is that Eon is undeterred. He did not flinch. He is still going across the map with his Lings. But again, it's taking a while because the Roaches had to be morphed into Ravagers. Eurystheus, does he realize that something is amiss? Like, something's not quite right. He does have a bunker at home and a tank on the high ground.
Yeah, definitely an interesting play by Eurystheus to pull back. Like, I would have loved to see him just like leave it there. Like, what are you gonna do about it?
Yeah.
And like really force a response back, because you have to know that there are units somewhere. As oh no, siege tank shelling away. The bunker does go down though, but I don't know about this one.
Oh god, okay, the tank still stays alive on the low ground, but the boys are pulled. It looks like the Marines are going to be able to clean this up, but not before losing almost every single SCV in the mineral line.
And more lanes are reinforcing in, and the Viking even passed to land. But another siege tank sieging up 2 vials, but there is not a third to land on it. As oh no.
Oh god.
One.
Yeah, I can't believe it. The Lynx managed to kill the tank. This is disastrous. Like, Eurystheus was looking so good here, but everything in the natural's dead, pretty much. Oh my god. And so we have plenty of Lings to follow up as well. There is no wall whatsoever here in the natural, and the Lings, they're going to be getting on top of everything. The Widowmine has a bird.
Yeah, really quite unlucky. And there's more Zerglings coming across. But like, I just don't know if, I don't know if Eon has like enough sustain in him for this like push.
True. It's important to bear in mind, Eurystheus does have 3 orbitals, right? Even though he is down in workers, he can replenish them quite quickly. And Eon has run out of steam with his Roches.
Yeah, there isn't really much of an army left, and there's a Viking heading across the map to maybe try and get some Overlord kills or something. And Eon, like, he is up in supply, but there are 3 orbitals, and there's just like, it's going to be so hard for Eon to really do anything for quite a while. He will have to either commit to like, yeah, I'm going to like all in you again, which I don't think is the correct play. He just doesn't have the drone count for it.
Yeah, and he's hurting so much, especially because he was just supply blocked as well. There it is. We have the drop coming back into the main base. This time, though, there is plenty to defend, so Eurystheus doesn't find too much damage there. But I like that he is applying pressure. He is trying to keep Eon at home, because you were just talking about it. I feel like Eon's going for the full-up all-in. Like, he's just going again.
Yeah, it's like there's so many units here, and like the 4th base is super deceiving. He's getting like all-in insurance. Like, yeah, I'm all-inning you, but like I'm just, or kind of, I guess. He looks like he's kind of sharking around a bit, trying to deny this medevac a little bit, in case it was unloading somewhere else. But it's like nice insurance by the Zerg player. Like, yeah, in case I don't win the game right here, I've got a 4th base in the layer. I'm playing a macro game, in quotes.
Yeah, and we've been here before. Once again, Eon's main army is out in the center of the map. There's a drop at the 3rd. Can he deal some damage? Oh, he can kill a queen. Shave off some Lings.
And there just isn't anything here to defend. The queen's gonna go down, and now there are roaches here, but there's just so many drones that like have the potential to go down. Loses a couple of them, but eventually cleans this up, which is really nice by Eon.
I'm a little bit concerned though, because like Eon is outside the 3rd, and like there's not really much here to protect the 3rd of Eurystheus. Okay, he does finally bring the Marines over. Is it enough?
That's a good question. There are a lot of siege tanks on the high ground, but like that is exactly that. The siege tanks on the high ground. These Ravagers could have the potential, but unfortunately he doesn't quite have vision of it. Gets one of the siege tanks, maybe, but loses everything for it. I don't think that was worth it.
That tank line was absolutely beautiful. Like, the Lings immediately evaporated, all the Ravagers went down, and now Eurystheus, he's in the driver's seat. He has closed that gap. He has basically equalized in terms of the worker count. He's sending drops across the map.
Yeah, no, really well done by Eurystheus. He's like, the all-in insurance is preventing Eon from like being, oh hey, well I have nothing left. Like, he has 60 drones. He's definitely in this game, but like he doesn't have the upgrades. Like, his upgrades are on the way, but like, this is definitely a rough spot to be in for Eon. He will have to defend very nicely for a while as these Marines are stimming onto the 4th base. Oh no.
Oh god, yeah, the queen and the drones go down, and you can just pick up and go straight into that main.
And there are queens in the main base, which is nice. One, that full energy gets very picked off right away, and like load up again, and once again is gonna get away with like a nice trade.
Yeah, exactly. To be fair, Eon, he is expanding over to the right-hand side as well, so he's working on his 5th hatchery, but Eurystheus, he's not skipping a beat. He's got a double drop headed over there as we speak.
I know Eurystheus is channeling his inner like Korean Terran, just like absolutely everywhere. I'm just gonna like with pure mechanics will destroy his opponent, as this double drop on the left side is getting a whole lot done, but on the right side it's gonna step into the third base. There really isn't anything here.
Yeah, exactly. The queen goes down once again. More drones are getting picked off. As this is happening, the drop on the left-hand side goes in once again. It does run into Roach Ravager, so it won't find too much damage. But regardless, like, so many drones are going down.
Yeah, really nice job by Eon to like do what he can to hold on, but unfortunately Eurystheus is just like absolutely everywhere all at once.
Yeah,
it's really unfortunate to see.
Eon, he just can't keep up. Like, he's trying the best he can, and ooh, it looks like he does bile the medevac over on the left-hand side, and he did get his 5th up. Like, that, his hatcheries are still alive, which is something, I guess, but for how much longer?
Exactly, and it's just like, it's really unfortunate to see, because on the other side of things there is a 4cc, lots of siege tanks, and like more racks as well. And yeah, like Eurystheus starting to mine out on his like main base and his natural, but he's got on a whole nother base. He can get another CC here if he wants. I feel like Eurystheus is just so well set up for the long game, and Eon just is still playing catch up, getting mid game tech.
Yeah, Eon was struggling to deal with like 2 drops. Now the main army is coming across the map, you know, like, this is terrifying. We've got, what, 5 tanks with this army, plenty of marines and marauders as well. He's pushing through the rocks, and Eon is going for a bit of a lane run by, which is nice, but it's not enough to cause Eurystheus to turn around.
I know the SCVs managed to clean that up all on their own, as this is just such a scary force.
Yeah, that it is. There are a couple of Ravagers and they're trying to bile what they can, but there's nothing to stop the main Bio army from just stimming forward.
Yeah, I know, it's stimming right on top, clean up basically the whole army, and unsiege the tanks, leapfrogging forward. Now, there is something to be said for Eurystheus here, not like risking it all, because he doesn't know if they're like burrowed lurkers or something, and like really like doing everything he can to make sure he stays in this game, and like he completely cleans it out. Because throwing away a whole army to lurkers would be a way to throw it, but I feel like Eurystheus, it's going to be so hard for Eon to come back from here.
Exactly. Like, he did finish up his Veiling Nest, and Veiling's speed just finished up as well. So ideally, like, the best connections in the world, like, if Eurystheus doesn't split his army, then maybe he can do something. But Eurystheus, he's just going for a massive Dune drop into the main base.
Yeah, and Eon is turning around. He does have so many Veilings here, but can they get on top of the army in time? There's some really good connections here, but is it going to be enough, as the army is fighting what it can? And I don't know about this Doom Drop Light.
Oh my god, the tank still stands though, just barely survives the biles, and with that, the backbone of this army is going to be enough. It does trade, it does eventually get cleaned up, but like Eon cannot afford to replace the army that he just lost.
Yeah, that is such an expensive army. That was so many Hydras and Ravagers and Banelings, and like losing all of it, especially when you're like not really able to afford any upgrades. Now with 2-2 finishing for the Terran, Eurystheus has a 2 upgrade lead, and that makes this Bio army so much scarier to fight.
Exactly, and you know what? Now he's pushing over to the right-hand side where there's barely any creep whatsoever. It's going to be that much harder for Banelings to get any connections. I say that, there's only 1 Baneling remaining. Okay, no, there are a couple more Banelings over on the left-hand side, but Eon has to give up that base.
You know, this base, it goes down, and this base has been the lifeblood for Eon, just like a consistent spot of mining for quite a long time. Barely harassing. Oh, the Burrow Bane play, I love to see it, but is it going to be able to get Oh, that was gorgeous.
Juicy connection. That was probably the best he could have hoped for, but it isn't enough. There are no more Banelings. The Marines, they're just stimming on forward, chasing down the Hydras.
Yes, and unfortunate for Eon, but that it's that classic Terran thing where you immediately GG gets called. Well played by Eurystheus. But I just have to giggle a bit as like you have a Baneling connection like that will blow up on you, and immediately just scan like as if that's gonna help you get your Marines back.
Oh my god. Yeah. That one, unfortunately, he was unable to see that Baneling, but congratulations, because in the end, Eurystheus, I was not expecting this. He comes out first in his group.
And a really well done, and that's going to help him seeding wise so much, because like a lot of that helps his seed out, like it, because he will not have to worry about facing another like top tier first place finisher from one of the other Code A groups in the future, which makes his life easier going forward.
Definitely. GG, well played, Eurystheus. He honestly, I'm very impressed with him today. Like, I'm probably the most impressed with him out of anyone else we've seen. Riser was like dominant in his group, but Eurystheus did kind of feel a little bit like an underdog, especially up against Eon. But solid games.
And a really well done. I really enjoyed that. As hey, what a day of games. That was just so much fun. We got a little bit of everything. We got like some macro games, some really long ones, and some like super early all-ins. Just a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
Definitely. And everyone in the chat, !B in the chat. I have been avoiding saying it because there are spoilers on Liquipedia, but now we have completed the group stage for Code A of Season 1 2021, so we can all have a look at those groups. We can see it. We can have a look at all the players who have advanced on to the next season's up and down matches.
Yes, I'm very excited to see. We had some very like really big names go through, and also some big names that you'd kind of expect to go through, like not quite managed to get through. Like for instance, I totally had like Disrespect and Kozin coming out of Group C, and in fact Disrespect unfortunately not quite making it is a bit unlucky, but hey, he played well, and there's always next season.
Oh yeah, there is always next season. Just really well played by everyone. We have a couple of favorites here and there, right? Like, it's unfortunate that Disrespect didn't make it through, but like Ruichi looked quite strong, Riser as well. And all of these players, the top 2 of each group, will be going up against the bottom 2 of each group from Code S.
Yes, and so I'm real quick going to take a look and see what those players are. You got some really big names in Pili and Starkiller. As well as Jig, Prototype, Jon Snow Dolan, and Patty Mac and Galaxy. And so some very interesting names. Galaxy isn't the name I'm super familiar with, but still we've got some like nice big American and North American names in there as well. And so I'm very curious to see how this goes.
Definitely. There were some upsets, I know, in Code S, where a lot of people were expecting a player like Pili to top his group. No one foresaw that he wouldn't even make it out of the group stage.
Yeah, like Pili and like Jon Snow's another name where like I kind of expect Jon Snow to just like win everything until he hits like a Cyril or a Lambo or a laser or like Need maybe. Because like I feel like he's been so good for so long. I just like seeing him not get out of his group is also kind of a shocker there in Code S. Yeah,
definitely. Some kind of like sleeper agents is Semper has recently returned from the game. He's been very like on and off, semi inactive in 2020 and straight up inactive in 2019, so he has returned and he's actually looking really good. A couple of months ago he actually defeated Special in Battle of the Americas, which was very surprising. Everyone was like, oh my god. Special of course was just complaining about Protoss after that, but as we would expect. But yeah, like Semper is you know, he's back like on the rise. Trigger is another player who has been doing better and better. He actually got picked up by Alpha X like 2 days ago because of how much he's been improving.
Nice. Always good to hear like these slightly lesser known names get picked up by the big teams. That's, you know, comforting.
Definitely. So yeah, it's really exciting. I believe next week, I'll have to confirm with Sugar, we will be casting those up and down matches as the first season has concluded. We just finished up Code A. Code S did finish up this week as well. I believe that was casted by... It could have been Steadfast, actually. He may have been the one who casted that. But yeah, regardless, you know, this is going to be the conclusion of the first season so far, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's always great to cast NA StarCraft and get more involved.
Exactly, completely agree with you. And it's nice to see, especially like the lesser known names that like might not get as much like stream time, just getting their name out there and like getting to like really represent their teams and play well. It's nice to see.
Yeah, definitely. I know that's what this is all about. Sugar, he's investing so much into North American StarCraft. He's like the new Fear Dragon. Because back in the day, Fear Dragon used to be the one who would invest and run like Breaking Out and NA ladder heroes and do as much as he could. And it feels like Sugar has stepped up and taken that mantle as doing what he can for the NA region. And yeah, he cares. He's passionate.
Yeah, love to see it. So yeah, I believe we'll have to like. So for next stream, you said next week we might be casting the up and down matches. I'm really excited for that. I'm curious to see when the groups will get posted.
I'm gonna have to speak to Sugar about it. I'm kind of hoping for a live cast. I would love that. Like replay casts, like they bring with them their own challenges.
Yes,
but from what I know, like this isn't the worst time for NA, so maybe we can get a couple of them live. Fingers crossed.
Yes, definitely. Fingers crossed. Hopefully we can get like at least one of the groups live. That'd be really nice to see. Just because like I live in NA at the minute, and it's like right now it's like 8:30 here, but I live next to the West Coast, and so like between 7:30 and like 11:30 when this will be wrapping up is like a fairly normal time. For your like average NA degenerate to be awake.
Yes, that is of course assuming like they don't have work or school or something in the middle of the day or in the afternoon. But we'll see if we can make something happen. Regardless, even if it is from replays, we will be casting them as soon as we get them available to us. There may be like a week break in between seasons. Again, we'll have to confirm, but regardless, they will be on this channel. And thanks everyone for coming. mLty, thank you so much for joining me for the first season this year, and for experiencing this replay cast with me. Now feel our pain. I don't know if you've had much experience with this in the past.
Yeah, I've done it once or twice. This isn't as bad as I've had one experience back in WCS, I think it was 2017, where the games are being played, but we were casting like one series behind from replays. That was painful, but this is slightly more manageable than that, and it's an interesting time. I definitely see the pain and see why we always try and get the live games because they're just so much easier.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. But thank you so much for joining me today. mLty, who are you? Where can people find more of you? What do you do right now?
Not a whole lot. Most of my casting and like content on stream is actually on this channel. I play in the Master Swan Opens when those are available, so you can catch me on those on the tournament streams occasionally. But I do cast this with you guys, and this is always fun. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at mLtySC, spelled mLtysc, and that's like generally my name on basically anything I use. And so yeah, I occasionally stream. I'm gonna try and stream once again. I'm waiting for like my computer to upgrade, and so I'm working on that at the minute. But once I finish that, I'll try and be streaming much more often and regularly see some StarCraft from me. That's basically all I do. And so yeah. What about Light? What about you? What do you do? Where can the people find you?
Light_VIP on Twitch and Twitter. I may be streaming later today. I'm probably gonna have another ladder session. I'm trying to get back into it. I am embarrassed to admit I did my placements for this season like last week, and I placed in Diamond 2, and I was like, what? I felt bad. I felt so, and I'm like, you know what? I've been playing too much Final Fantasy. I can't let this stand. So right now I'm trying to get back into Masters. That is my goal. Hopefully I can. I'm struggling against Protoss right now, I'm not gonna lie. But I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Funny that you struggle against Protoss, because I'm also struggling against Protoss, and I believe Lambo is having a week dedicated to how to deal with Protoss in their craft. For all you Zerg players out there, Lambo is a really nice content creator as well. But what's going on in the CranKy Ducklings? What do you got planned for the next week?
Yes, as the people can see on the screen right now, we did just finish up NA Apprentice. Thursday, 9 a.m. KST. Tomorrow, we will be live with SDO, Duckling Open. That is our amateur event, bronze to diamond. All players from any region are eligible, as long as, you know, they are at least, oh, sorry, at most diamonds. We do not allow off racing or anything like that. But yes, that is going to be our next broadcast. And then after that, we've got our normal weekly scheduled broadcast for the weekend, where we just have double casts every single day, non-stop StarCraft here on the CranKy Ducklings. So if you're interested, then follow us, you know, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Discord. We are all over the place. Join us there to be notified for when we go live. And thanks everyone for watching. It's been fun.
Definitely.
Yeah, and with that, we will see you tomorrow. And I was gonna like maybe go to a duct tape or something, but it's fine. We'll see you tomorrow, everyone, and hopefully next week when mLty can participate and take part of MSO.
Hopefully.
See you next time. Ciao.
Bye.